Hi, I'm Danya. With the rise of social media, AI, the need to fit in, it's becoming difficult to ask ourselves, who are we? What do we like? And what makes me me? It's becoming so commonplace nowadays amongst teenagers especially to keep searching for a niche, to keep searching for an identity, which are usually perfectly curated on social media. And so I think this is due to a lack of ability to question yourself, to understand who you are as a person. And in this video, I want to talk about just how social media and AI act as a catalyst to self-destruction, to the loss of individualism, of identity. Now, I'm keeping this semi-structured because I think I prefer this to be a bit informal, a bit more like my own opinions. While obviously I want to link to amazing articles below in the description that I took a few points from because I think they were very, very relevant. But I do want to talk a lot about what it means to be an individual, the commodification of identity, how it's becoming something, how existence is becoming sold to us through social media, and how social media ties into everything, how we are all becoming slaves to the algorithm, how we're losing our ability to make our own decisions, our own choices, and we just look to social media, to other people, to know what to do, to know who to be. Now, I think it's important to address, what makes a person an individual. At birth, every human is an individual. If we weren't individuals, we would be connected to somebody else, kind of like a conjoined twin. But even conjoined twins have different brains, they have different interests. But I guess what I'm saying is, there's a reason we were created to be just a single person, a single organism, a single mind that makes our own decisions. Individuality is deeply linked to identity by physically and psychologically responding to yourself. And what I mean by this is not using somebody else on the internet or on social media as a blueprint for your life, for the clothes you wear, the decisions you make, the phrases you use on a daily basis. Now, I'm sorry if I keep looking down. It's because I'm just reading my notes on my notebook. But I guess I wanted to just show you a few points I've just jotted down about what I think it means to be an individual. And I guess they are up for debate. Nobody has to agree with them. But personally, I think to be an individual, you should have the capacity to make your own decisions, to think in a logical way without needing somebody else to think for you or using AI or social media to make a decision, to know what you like and you don't like and your strengths and your weaknesses, because understanding who you are is a very important part of individualism, because how can you make a decision that is good for you if you don't know, I guess, what's good or bad for you, or what makes you weak, what makes you happy, what makes you strong. And so this is important to establish your sense of, I guess, differentiation from another person, to distinguish yourself, to be different from the next person, which is exactly what makes us independent or makes us an individual. You should also be able to have kind of a structure in your life. Now, I'm not saying you have to have one reason that makes you want to wake up in the morning. I guess not everyone has figured that out. But what I mean is kind of a structure. Think about school, work, university, something of that sort. I think having some kind of structure like that in your life is extremely important, because if you were lazing around in our bodies, not doing anything, I think you would destroy our sense of purpose in life. It's up for debate for what reason humans have been put down here, but it seems like we are destined to get a job, to work, to provide for ourselves or someone else. And so this is kind of what we follow. This is the structure we follow. If we didn't have these systems, it gives us a kind of panic, an identity crisis. Who am I? What am I doing here? What am I supposed to be doing? It makes you feel like you don't belong in society, as if you've lost yourself. And this is kind of an interesting thing that I want to keep going into. What constitutes, I guess, a person? How can you find your sense of self? And what damages your sense of self, which I will get into. But this is kind of just what it means to be an individual, to me. How to be autonomous, how to have agency over your decisions and who you are. Obviously, I believe that nobody has full control over their fate. Just, I guess, my belief, religious belief. I believe that God has planned everything, or he can determine whether something happens or doesn't happen, but that can change with prayer, that can change with me asking him for blessings, etc. I don't want to get too detailed into it, but that's, I guess, for me. And if you were to ask me what makes me an individual, well, I'm not going to be telling you my strengths or weaknesses or anything personal like that. But I guess you can say my structure is that I go to school and I do my daily prayers. So that's what keeps me going. And I make my own decisions every day just by even just making my own bed, by getting myself dressed, by making my own food, by talking to people that I choose to talk to. But I think the way that this becomes difficult to establish is due to social media, and social media being a catalyst for the loss of identity. Now, first I'm going to talk about social media in itself, what it is, how it affects people. Obviously, the moment that you open an app, be it TikTok, Instagram, anything which just bombards you, especially in a sort of algorithmic scrolling kind of application, I don't know. Something that bombards you with stimulation the moment you open the app. You're exposed to a multitude of personalities, of products, of identities, of aesthetics, of just anything, any lifestyles even. And so when you keep consuming these things, especially mindlessly, they accumulate in your subconscious. And when you leave that app, or when you stop the action of scrolling, you're left with a sense of needing something. You're left with a feeling that you need something, that you need to change something, or you need to buy something, you need to be something, you need to do something, just a need. And I think that's what drives us to do a lot of our things. Obviously, seeing someone else on social media going to internships would make you want to go to an internship. Because as humans, we are socialized to copy people. It is normal to conform. It's at a small level, at a low level, it is actually just what makes us human, to copy people, to be liked by people, to be accepted by them, because this is how we form connections. But when you look at people too much that you don't even know on social media, just a lot of them, and they seem to be sharing their highlights, it can very easily chip away at your self-confidence, chip away at your self-worth, and it leaves you with a lack of identity. It makes you think, I want to be like them. I want to do exactly what they do because this looks favorable. This is desirable. I want this. And this acts as a sort of breeding ground. Social media is a breeding ground for just copying behaviors, just pushing out lifestyles that are constantly changing, all these micro trends, pushing up products that people don't even need to buy. And it's because of all this stimulation making people overwhelmed, thinking that they need to also be like this because they see their fellow humans having the same thing. And so it creates this sense of urgency, this sense of necessity or need. And I think when people succumb to this and they tend to, I guess, buy the products or copy the lifestyle, talk like an Instagrammer or a TikToker, to copy someone else's life, to use someone else's blueprint, this is what makes it difficult to understand your own beliefs, your own values. It dilutes your sense of self. It makes it difficult for you to understand who you are. A lot of this insecurity is bound to make you come back to social media to cope with it. And I think this is what creates this unhealthy loop, this just returning to the source of destruction and then using that source to cope. We were never meant to be exposed to so much stimulation as humans. We were never supposed to see this much success from other people. It just isn't normal. In our normal lives, we're only exposed to the people around us and we don't know what they do behind closed doors, okay? And neither do we know what happens between other people or what happens in other people's personal lives online. We're so ready to just judge ourselves because we see someone else's highlights. And the truth is that nobody really wants you to see their failures on social media, although people do share their low points nowadays, which is good to remind ourselves that we have to be realistic and life is bumpy. But seeing so much success, and obviously because people want to show others just how great they are, it kind of stimulates more insecurity. It stimulates more urgency to change yourself, to become better as well. Self-improvement is a whole other thing. Following trends unnecessarily, following people, it's like you're worshipping the algorithm. And the thing is, the scary part is you don't have a choice. You're being shown videos that you didn't pick. At least with YouTube, you get to scroll through, I guess, yes, a curated For You page. But you're the one clicking on the videos. You're the one in charge of what you see. Social media is going to show you anything and everything. It can give you unexpected things, and it will record and give you videos based on your data. And so I guess it kind of uses you, but then again, you don't have control or autonomy over what you see. And so that can bring the opportunity for dangerous information or dangerous stimuli to come to you, to make you feel like an incomplete human. And this sense of incompletion creates a void in us, I think. Personally, when I saw a lot of people on social media with, I guess, academic success, or even other people, maybe if they had a healthy lifestyle or something productive, I always felt so incomplete. I felt like the least productive human in the world. And so I guess it fed into some sort of anxiety or some sort of urge to change myself. And the truth is that we were never meant to change ourselves this much. Obviously, change is good when you know that you need the change. It's all about like self-initiation. It's all about initiating your own processes. By knowing yourself, by understanding yourself, you can make logical, mindful decisions. You can succeed if you know yourself. But the issue is that social media doesn't want us to be an individual. It wants us to conform to the masses, to do what everyone else is doing without a clear reason why, without some sort of inner motivation, without a goal, without a focus or an oath that you take, an intention. Without any intention, you're just mindlessly copying people because you want to feel like a part of society. So this is why I think it is extremely important that we start questioning who we are, questioning what we stand for by sitting with ourselves. Sounds boring, but sitting with ourselves, reflecting, writing it down, speaking, doing anything without using social media or the internet or AI to, give us the push, give us the ideas. I think it's so difficult nowadays to just think by yourself, to formulate your own thoughts. And I think this is dangerous again, because if you're not able to form your own thoughts, you can't make logical, mindful, I guess, intelligent decisions. It's difficult to become socially aware as well. I think by engaging more, by creating more, by thinking more, you'll be able to feel so grounded in life that you won't need social media to tell you what to do. You're able to know who you are, to feel so in control in life, or not exactly in control, but to feel like an individual. I think this is what constitutes being a human, to be individualist, to feel, to think, and to be autonomous, to do things autonomously, to have a sense of differentiation that isn't reliant on other people. And although people might think that by copying different styles, this is a way of differentiation, of becoming an individual, you're still copying something else. You aren't doing what you want. You're copying an ideal. You're copying something that is curated. And so, although on social media there are so many subgroups, subcultures, such as clean girl, Pilates girl, the list could go on. I mean, I've only mentioned just two out of the millions. But by placing ourselves into these categories, this is just limiting our identity. Our identity is much more than just a few words. This is just ridiculous to me. And it promotes a lot of overconsumption of products, of energy even. Like, just placing your energy into these profiles that you haven't even explored yourself. It's just mindless. It's just using it as a means of coping because you aren't able to ask yourself the difficult questions. You aren't able to give yourself an identity. So you let social media tell you what to do. You use it as a guide for socializing, for clothing, for speaking, for just about anything, making any decision. And all in all, I think this over-reliance on social media, AI, whatever it is, on other people, and the key word is over-reliance, okay? Over-reliance. It can just damage us. It makes us feel like lost people. And it also just makes us boring to be with. I know that when people just seem like carbon copies of each other, it feels so demotivating. Where is your humanity? Where is your individualism? I want to feel charmed by your difference. Even if it's not a good difference, just meeting someone who is different to you, it inspires you. It makes you feel in awe. And I think there's just so much beauty in differences, in different people, in their different likes, interests, their personalities. It is so refreshing. If we all saw the same people every day, like as in the same personalities, we would become immensely bored. Might be drawing ourselves to depression even. And even having this lack of identity already teeters people into a very dangerous position, mental health-wise. Thank you so much for listening to my ramble. I really enjoyed these semi-structured kind of talks, and I hope this is really interesting to watch, to listen to. Please recommend this to your friends, family, if they think they enjoy this kind of video. Please give me suggestions in the comments, start any discussion. I would really appreciate if we could share more points on this topic. But all in all, these are just my opinions. You don't have to take them seriously. I guess this is just what my reflection is on the way social media is shaping the people that I know and people on social media itself. But stay safe, and I'll see you in the next one.